Hi, I'm Janet from Chez Les Fleur podcast, and this is the podcast where we talk about women in business and the exciting things, the challenging things, the beautiful things they're doing in their everyday work life that, is great about small business. It's great about what they're doing and what they're about. And if you're joining us for the first time, we welcome you. If this is a podcast that you're coming back to, we're really glad that you're choosing to watch us over and over again because we've got some really terrific women that we talk to on a weekly basis. Today with me, I have Jennifer Scates, and she's at Central Smith Ice Cream. Oh, how lucky. And she's going to talk to us about the ice cream business. Jennifer, thanks for being with us. I know that you're busy and it's, we're coming into peak season for ice cream. So I know you have a lot on the go, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. You're in a multi-generational business. Tell me
Yes.
how, tell me how that came about.
Well, it's quite a story. So Central Smith has been in Smith Township, which is now Selwyn Township, since 1896. It originated as a farmers co-op, so all the farmers in the area would bring their milk and cream and eggs and things to the factory to be processed way back when. And refrigeration wasn't really very good, so they would haul ice from Chemung Lake and put it in the ice house, which is actually still in the premises. And that would be the refrigeration for the summertime. In about 1952, a private individual bought the factory, and he decided to get rid of the butter and the eggs and focus primarily on milk and ice cream. And just around that time in history, refrigeration became something that was more easily done. And so a tiny, tiny, tiny little freezer was put on the premises, and ice cream machinery was purchased, and that family started to produce ice cream. In 1978, my father-in-law, Jim Scates and Heather Scates, purchased the building and the business. And Ian, my husband, he was 22 at the time. He was a millwright mechanic by trade and had gone to Queen's University. Asked his dad if he could have a summer job, and he calls it his longest summer job ever, being there for 45 years coming on now. Um, so the business was tiny, and Toronto was down the road. So the family decided that that would be the way to go. And slowly and gradually, we've built the business to where it is today.
Fabulous, fabulous. And it's, there's that rich history, in multi-generational businesses that really help, in a subtle way build the brand, you know.
Yeah, so
So
that's a great point. So about 12 years ago, I was asked to join the team, and I didn't have a marketing background, but I knew that we needed to sort of step into the world of the internet and develop a website and figure out our brand and make it a little more appealing to people. So that's when I came on board. And now, more recently, our daughter Jillian is part of our team. She's been with us for 7 years, and she's our business development manager.
excellent. Yes, the world of ice cream, and this is only my own perception, and yeah, I'm sure we can talk about this, is it's gone from just being something you put on a plate beside a piece of birthday cake. That whole product line has expanded so much. And I'm sure you'll be able to tell us about that, it's gone from a scoop in a crunchy cone
Yeah,
to,
so yeah, you're right. So in traditional flavors like black sweet cherry or vanilla or chocolate or strawberry. Those ones are sort of the staple of the business. And you're right. You pair vanilla ice cream and a brownie or a piece of pie, and you've got a wonderful dessert. But now customers, because since Ben and Jerry's actually came on the scene and started making their fabulous concoctions of ice cream and funny names, um, ice cream has become a destination, a fun thing to do for families, and they're looking for creative and interesting taste combinations that other people don't have. So we've got a few ones that people really come to us for, and we're grateful for that. And we're always looking at what's happening in the market in terms of tastes and flavors, and we try to create a new flavor every year for sure. And then that leaves room for the ones that are sort of dying off to go off our list. But we've created ice cream, so that's our primary staple. We also have frozen yogurt, frozen dessert, which is a non-dairy treat. We have sorbet, which is like a sugar ice. And we have sherbets, which are 2% butterfat. And we also have a line of yogurt bars, and we make stick bars for other companies.
Yeah,
So
I mean
lots of different things.
Yeah, that whole progression from, an ice cream sandwich to an ice cream cake and flavors. It's for somebody like me looking at it from the outside, it's fascinating because you go into your place and it's perfectly situated to just swing off the road and buy a cone. And, I'm sure that that's not lost on you. Easy to get into, easy to get out of. And you look at the flavors and you think, wow, that's creative.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that must be
thanks.
part
Yeah,
of the
we've
fun.
worked. It is, and a lot of people just think that our business is, excuse me, just the little outside ice cream shop that's on the premises. But that's just a small portion of our business. That's the part I run, so it's pretty near and dear to my heart. But it's the back of the shop and all the white tablecloth people that we co-manufacture for, and are able to distribute our products across the country.
So before you were in ice cream, what did you do?
Uh, um, it's a really funny. I was a teacher, and I taught kindergarten to grade 3. And I'm actually from Alberta, so my training came from Calgary, and I met Ian, and couldn't move an ice cream factory, so I had to move here. And I worked in the Peterborough Public School Board at the time. It was called KPR now. And I worked up in Apsley and Chemung Public School, and then I had my kids. And then I went back and I taught at the Aerosmith School, which is a school for children with learning disabilities. And I learned a ton about how people learn and all of that. And in that process, I started to become more of the assistant director of the school. So I sort of had that leadership bit in me. And I don't know, 12 years ago, Ian and his mom and dad were kind of struggling. Business was tough. And I said to Ian's mom and dad, I think I can help the factory, and I think I can help Ian. You don't have to pay me. Just let me help him, and we'll see how it goes. So 2 years later, a board meeting was called, and I said, okay, I've been working for you for 2 years, and I think things are better. I know things are better. I think it's time I got paid. So it was a bit of a journey, family businesses. And yeah, it's been a ride. I've had a lot of fun. I've learned a lot about business that I didn't know before. And now Ian and I are co-owners and making co-decisions all the time. So that's how I
So
got there.
yeah, and fascinating journey. And I'm sure that a lot of the skills you had as a teacher are working for you are very transferable to a corporate setting where, you need to get the whole team on board. So if people hear
Yeah,
differently and digest differently, pardon the pun, um,
yeah,
then
you're absolutely right, Janet. I mean, I think that's a skill that I brought. I'm very well organized. I believe in sort of the the structure of meetings and communication and making sure people on the team feel valued and part of it and all of that. And not to say that, people weren't happy when they were working for Mr. and Mrs. Scates, but I think we have a really cohesive group that really feel empowered and feel like they are part of something that's pretty cool. Today we had Shamrock Shakes going on, and everybody had one, and it was good fun. So
Yeah, good, good. So I have to tell you a story about your in-laws. I'm on a bus going from the Chicago airport to a hotel downtown for the Rotary Convention. I get
yeah,
talking to the guy across the aisle from me, and so eventually we say, "Where are you from?" And he says, "I'm from Rochester." And I say, "Well, that's not far. Really, in a global sense, it's not far from me. I'm in Peterborough." He said,
yeah.
my wife and I were on a trip in England and we were going to these bed and breakfasts. We came down one morning and there was a couple and they were from Peterborough." And I said, "Well, who were they? I probably know them." And he said, "Oh, geez, I can't remember their names." He says, "All I can remember is they had just retired from the ice cream business." I said, "Oh, that would be Mr. and Mrs. Skates." And he went, "Yes, it was." And so I love that about our community that, you know, we, we almost everybody touches each other at some
Yeah.
point in our journey through being part of this community. So,
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, through COVID, the community of support that we received was remarkable, and just the support and the knowledge of who we were. It sort of allowed us to come back on the map for a lot of families in the area. It was very powerful. Yeah, you're right. Community is amazing.
so as you sort of alluded to at the beginning, you're very heavily dependent on the dairy industry. I mean, I know this is a simple question, but where does all your milk come from? Like, and what does that whole process look like? Like, how do you like, I know I get the same question, where do your flowers come from? But like, where does your,
Yeah, yeah.
tell us about that.
So our milk comes from Mitchell, Ontario. And the reason it's Mitchell and not Peterborough is because there isn't a transfer station in Peterborough. So all the milk that's produced in Ontario, so you see the milk truck going around to all the farms around, and there's a lot of farms in our area. All of that milk is taken to the transfer station in Mitchell. It's processed to make sure it's all fine and the right fat content and all of that. And then it's put into silos, and then we get it up here. The Fairlife place in Peterborough, they do some processing on their own, and they have the capability there, but they're making it for their own use. So for their milk and for their cream and things like that, right there at the Fairlife plant. But so all of our milk and cream come from Ontario, and we're really proud of that. We have the dairy farmers logo on all of our things. Um, we try to source things as close to local as we can because we really believe in that. And we want to support jobs in Ontario and Canada for sure. So, yeah, it's an interesting process, but that's what happens over the next couple of weeks. So, right now, we receive our cream in totes, and they look like, I don't know, if you know what a skid looks like, that size of a skid, it's like a cube of cream, and we get about 25 or 32 of those totes of cream that arrive to the factory every Monday. And we use them all week long. 36% sweet cream. They're wonderful things. And we use them in our mixed manufacturing. And in a couple of weeks, actually, there's some new silos that are going to be erected outside of the factory. We're really excited. So we'll be receiving bigger volumes of cream, and from the same place, but just bigger volumes. And we're excited about that to get some
That
new
is
more
exciting.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Uh,
Love it. Love it. So I always ask this to people who are in business with their husbands, their wives, their children, just because I'm curious. So you work all day with your husband and your daughter. So when you go home at night, What do you talk about at dinner?
Well, we have one other daughter, and she's our policewoman, so it's great. Um, we allow everybody to talk about 5 minutes about work, because obviously you've all had stuff going on in your day and whatever. Ian and I actually share a desk, so we can talk about it all day long. But as soon as dinner comes, we really try to allow everybody a different voice. And our other daughter, she actually works at the factory. She works on the line making the ice cream. So she has a different perspective than all the rest of us. So we sort of chat about that for a little while, and then we really try to focus on, other things in life, like, swimming, or Jillian's just purchased a house. So if she's here for dinner, we try to talk about what's going on in her life and stuff like that. But on the weekends, we kind of have a cone of silence about work until probably about 4 o'clock on Sunday. The talk starts again. So yeah.
Good. So you've got a or a little plan and
Yeah, it wasn't
yeah.
always that way, I'll be honest. Especially when it was so new to me. I had so many things I needed to talk over with Ian, and a lot of things I wanted to change, but had to do it in my own pace. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You also are busy with Special Olympics.
Yes, Special Olympics is dear and near to my heart. Our daughter Tessa is a Special Olympian, and she joined Special Olympics about 10 years ago, and I started coaching with Debbie Quinlan, who's just an amazing person in our
Mhm.
community. And I co-coach the swim team here in Peterborough. We have 10 athletes this May going to the provincial games, and we're super excited about that. We have a swim meet this weekend, actually, which will be super fun. So we have about 25 athletes who range in disability from Down syndrome to autism to intellectual disabilities, at all adults. Our youngest swimmer is 18, and our eldest swimmer is 48 years old. And they're just an amazing, uplifting, wonderful group of people. You can have the worst day and you go to Special Olympics and have a swim practice, and by the end of it, you're laughing and you just have a great time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It really is a special organization. And I have friends that are on the hockey team and with the Comets, and like you say, you can be having the worst day and man, you're laughing at the end of it because they're just living large.
Yeah.
They really
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. They're so appreciative of every gesture, everything that you do for them. And the love you receive is certainly more than what you give. So it's just an incredible thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing such a great job and being part of their lives too, because I'm sure they enjoy having you around.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's definitely
Good.
fun for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate you taking so much time to be with us because I know how busy you are. And what I like to do is ask a few rapid fire questions at the end, just something unrelated to your work. And if you're in for that, then I've got
Sure.
some questions. Okay, great. Let's
Okay.
go. Um, Raspberry sherbet or Algonquin canoe?
Hmm.
Okay.
Algonquin canoe.
Adele or Rihanna?
Wendell.
Sandals or sneakers?
Sneakers. I'm a runner.
Fiction or non?
Uh, Probably fiction, but with a twist of non in there.
Okay. Swimming or sunning?
Stunning for sure. I'm not a water person, despite the fact I coach the swim team.
That's funny.
Yes.
Jennifer, thank you for being with us today. I really appreciate hearing your story and share you taking time to share it with us and all the great things that are happening out at the ice cream factory. I can't imagine a world without ice cream, and so I appreciate what you're doing and all the things your family does. And I know you're busy. I appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure.
Well, it was great to talk to you.
Thank you for thinking about me and stretching me to do this. And I certainly sincerely appreciate the offer. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate you. So thank you for being with us.
Yes, my pleasure. Yeah.
If you're watching Chez Les Fleur podcast for the first time, welcome. If you're coming back as a visitor, a returning visitor, we're glad to have you with us. We talk about women in business, the challenges, the fun, the problem solving, whatever gets thrown at business people in small independent businesses. And we're really glad that you took time to watch us today. Next week, we are going to have with us Teresa Foley from Showplace, and she's going to tell us her story. She's works in an entertainment field, but she's also an entertainer herself. So we'll have some fun with Teresa. Anyway, thank you, Jennifer. It was great to see you.
Bye.
Appreciate you. Bye.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.